You're funny, man. Okay, go
There,
ahead.
they're
Go ahead.
recording now. Okay, what I'm saying is that the sales, the earnings per share is a reflection of the sales, okay, in
Mhm.
their earnings during that time. What the June positive numbers are heavily affected by the quarantine, by the months that people were locked in. Probably, there's a reflection. There is a leftover benefit from that,
Mhm.
which means that looking forward, people are not going to be locked in again. So there could be a sensibility in the marketplace indicating, you know what, the future, even though might be rosy, it won't be as rosy as it was during the lockdown, the heavy lockdown.
Right.
And that might be part of the pullback, aside from the speculative benefit that all of these technology stocks receive from investors, retail investors starting to contribute to the buying of stocks. I think that's probably it. I'm speculating, but it just makes sense to me.
No, it makes sense. But do you think all these hedge funds and mutual funds are really that, dumb and, and therefore they're slow to move the funds either in and out, and it takes time for them to, obviously tell the investors that they're moving out of Wayfair and whatnot. But look at this. In March, they had 636 institutional investors, and in June, it's 764. That is a crazy amount of increase.
This,
Uh, and they're all holding this money right now. It's very hard for them to move
but,
this.
but look, but is it crazy? In September of 19, they had 732.
No, I
So,
understand. I understand that,
so,
but
so my point is, the investors that you may be seeing coming back in June are the ones that are trying to take advantage of the downturn, not the upturn.
yeah, I mean, it's a valid point, but um, and but also you have to realize, so the companies right now, they're in retail, internet, based environment. Do you
Right.
see a lot of those stores that are, like Sears and Name Mark Martin, all those stores are closing. Hugo Boss. Forget about stores. Even retail banking is closing. I mean, I had two HSBC branches right next to me. They both closed at the same time. Um,
Yes.
Everything that's stationary right now is going online. So for people to say, I think right now is a frenzy. It's a sales frenzy where it's not based by any fundamentals. 84% increase in sales, 313% in earnings per share, and people are still selling. Something tells me is not something
Well,
is not
but
right.
let's think a bit about this. Institutional investors, they set goals for their investments. They pull out once they achieve their goal, correct? You would agree with that, right?
It's hard for them to pull out. Remember Maurice and I, and when you look at through Ken Slim, you have to convince all of those investors that are investing institutional
But
to pull out together. They have billions invested. They can't just go in and say, "Oh, we had 40% increase, 52 weeks." Like this is ridiculous. Look at the value. I mean, we're $2 million, 2 million, 2.63 value. All right, this is crazy. There, that's an obscene amount of volume, and it's actually going down. Right, the volume in on 814 was 22 million. So they obviously fluctuate quite a bit. So people right now the volume is going down because people are losing interest. Obviously, they're saying the
right,
lowest amount for 52 weeks was 242, the highest was 270. and
Right.
and the last price is 252, so somewhere in the middle. So I mean, it's losing steam, but not that much of a steam if you think of it. And their RS rating is still 99. And I want to do some of the studies. Let's look at some of the studies.
So your conclusion is that you feel that it doesn't make sense, but you're not seeing an answer to it. Is that what I'm reading?
Yeah, I'm not seeing an answer to it. The answer to it is that SoftBank had threw a monkey's wrench, and Tesla didn't really help either. So those are
Yeah.
two factors that we have to look. My point is just be careful. So let's look at some of the studies. William O'Neill's study tells us that on 9 different factors, there's only 2 fail, which is incredible. They're saying that EPS rating only failed, and its percentage high minus 15% fail. Everything else is up. Relative strength is 80%. AD ratings, it's pass. So let's go to the next one. For example, up volume, which we always look at that. Now they're saying, look, there's 2 fails. You see, now we're getting into a little bit problematic issue. So what was the fail? They say volume change versus 50 days. I just showed you the volume went from 22 million to 3 million in a matter of 2 days. That's a big problem. So here it is. If you're about to invest in the stock, saying it took a tumble, up volume right now is telling you that do not invest because you have 2 fails in 5 of the different ones. Yeah, you still have current price above 10. It's there, obviously, 50-day average volume. It's, at stocks more than 10, it's still up. Market cap, millions, more than 250. But the price change fail, volume change fail. Do not invest, okay? Now let's look at the third one as well that, Martin Zwang would like to look at. Look at how many fails is there. It's incredible. This stock is right now not an investable stock and it's a number 2 industry sector of 197. Remember how many sectors we have to be in for canceling? 40 sectors, right? And we're on the second sector. It's one of the top sectors, but it's judged over 52 weeks. And therefore, currently, we cannot even touch this stock, okay? Their 52 week high was 349. So let's go to the second one. I just want, for the sake of time, to go through the second. So we looked at Etsy. Now let's look at TER, which was accepted today, or will be accepted. I think the date is probably the end of the month, but look, the stock is aftermarket, is down. The volume is up 19%, which is good news. But the industry is 61 187. Are we going to invest in something like that? Probably not, but let's just keep looking. Their percentage change in sales is 49%. Good. Their ratio EPS, the EPS number is 102%, which is incredible. So let's look at a little bit of volume change. So in 7/17, the volume was about 8,584,000. The volume right now is 4,296,000. It tells me that people are not interested at this point. And the RS rating is 82. It's barely passable. The only thing that's good working for it, it's saying it's only 3% of the pivot. This is a pivot right here. This pivot was at $78, and we're actually down. We're from the pivot. Pivot was at 78, which is where the cup and handle is. That's the lowest point, and we're actually down $3 off the pivot. And it just happened. Pivot just happened on 4/3/2020, but it's lower than the pivot, lower than the lowest point to buy. So they're saying it's a good time to get in. You look at Martin's Wang, 1 fail, everything else is up. Let's look at up volume. Only 1 fail, everything else is there. Let's look at O'Neill's study. 2 fails. That's a little bit. So the rating they're saying is low. If you look at the ratings, they're saying is it's basically a D rating, D minus. One of the reasons is because it's electric semiconductor equipment and it's not in the top 40. So I mean, I'd really be careful, but look at the funds. Funds are, you know, gradually growing. As to your point, in 2019, September 2019, 881 funds bought it, institutional funds. Now it's 1,048. So it's grown little by little, you know, but it's not growing from last quarter. Go ahead, sorry.
That's 50% growth almost from September. That's huge.
Yeah, but from the last quarter, it's not that, you know, that much of a growth.
No, but that's stability too, you know.
Right. So that's that. Okay, so let's go to the third one quickly. Then we'll get to the hospitality stocks. I don't think anybody else is joining today.
You know, just out of curiosity, why don't you put Tesla? I'd like to see Tesla.
Oh my God. I even forgot the ticker because that's how crazy it's gotten. So it was down today almost $90, 21%.
Ouch.
Yeah, the volume was incredible, 110 million. I mean, you can't really look at their sales. I mean, they're saying sales is down, you know, 5%. Their EPS is up 300%, you know, because of probably the investments that people are, you know, pouring money in, so to speak. They're still 99 rating, number one auto manufacturer out of 197. But look at the O'Neill, 3 fails. That's a big red flag. Let's look up in volume. 1 fail, but I think this percentage volume would not change because of the fact that still the volume is going to be up. And it's 350% from the pivot. Until this is going to hit some legitimate number, like, remember, you have to multiply by 5, right? Because it was split 5 ways, right? It was 5 to 1 split.
But it's the same. I mean, you can see that $88 on 300 is almost 30%. You know, it's 21.%.
Correct. But I mean, if you look at it, the pivot last time was in 2018. That was a good time to get in at the time at you know, somewhere around $50. I mean, 50, you know, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that circumstances have changed. So that normal at that time was before they were closed. I'm not even sure if they had already announced the truck. I don't know if they had all, you know, all of these new developments.
Well, let's look at the company that's doing well today, Nikola. So what happened to Nikola today? Does anybody know?
No.
So GM came back and they said that we will have a conglomerate with Nikola to create a truck. So it's a collaboration with General Motors. General Motors gave up and they said we no longer want to create our own electronic car. We're going to use Nikola to create. So now let's look at Nikola. Look at this. Price was up $14.50 on a. It was up 41% today. 41% today. So if you got in a day before and put 300 shares, you would have been up $3,000-4,000 today. Just to give you an example, just one news, the same out of manufacturing, but the stock is still very respectful. But this is for the future, by the way, because if you look at their EPS, it's still negative. They're not making any money. And the sales not even produced. In fact, I can tell you, there is no sales on Nikola. They just broke factory. This is all hypothetical. They created prototype. That's all they do. The only sales they had is they sold to their CEO their solar panel, equipment, and that was $50,000. That's the only sales they have. But they have a bunch of potential. We spoke about it and we can talk about it a little bit more.
This is all speculative, not speculative, but this is all about future business. Nikola might, even now, I mean, look, this is the number one of 197 again, and that's because of the truck business.
Right.
So they are estimating at this point, which surprises me because you still have the Tesla truck, and yet they are giving this Nikola the number one spot. That is quite remarkable.
Yeah.
I think it's still a good buy.
It's an incredible buy right now. But it was even better buy when they told you to buy it at $30, which was just the day before, Friday. And Sergio had given you a presentation on NIO, Nikola, and Tesla, and I guess nobody even looked at it, but whatever.
Well, I got NIO. I did get NIO.
No, NIO, let's look at NIO right now.
It went down.
Yeah, NIO, but NIO is for the future. So NIO has, rechargeable batteries. But let's say you would have just said, screw it, I'm going to get Nikola for 100 shares. Screw it. Let's just throw $3,000 in there, whatever, just laying under your mattress. And you would have $1,400 in your pocket in one day. Boom. And I'm sure tomorrow it's going to be more. And
no, if you said 30,000, you would have gotten 12,000.
Not 30,000. I'm talking about 3,000. 3,000, my friend. Boy, 100 shares, not 1,000 shares. What are you talking about?
Well, you said 30,000. You mentioned the amount 30,000. That's
no,
what I'm
I
saying.
said 100 shares.
Oh.
If you take $30 times 100 shares, gives you 3,000, not 30,000. All right. So in any regard, yesterday I spoke to Sergio, and Sergio is very adamant about investing, and he doesn't want everything here confuses him. So he says, I'm going to hire an advisor. Then somebody was talking to him about NIO. His eyes light up because he did a presentation for me for NIO. So he went into this whole thing, and he said one guy got into NIO. So if you look at weekly, he got into NIO at around, I'll show you when he got in, $4, okay? And he bought 1,000 shares, or something like that, a couple of thousand shares. And he made a killing. And then Sergio goes, but I still want to use advisor. I said, yeah, but here, when we tell you these things, listen, make a note, write it down. Why are we going through this? When the technology company was going, a month before, we did a presentation, Twilio, Spunk, Salesforce, NVIDIA, all those things. For a month, they were going up still, but nobody's looking. Nobody's even doing their own research.
Let me ask you, let's talk long term, just for a second. Yeah. Long term, and I shouldn't say even long term, but let's talk about a year. Okay, if you want to buy any of these things for 1 year and keep them for 1 year, today, I don't believe that we have seen the bottom of these stocks.
No.
But even if you buy today, do we believe that in a year these stocks will be up? My gut feeling is yes.
Which stocks?
Like Tesla, like the ones that are down right now.
Yeah, but I wouldn't get into Tesla at this point. And you can record it. In fact, I'm recording it right now. I can tell you I wouldn't get into Tesla, but it's my own opinion. Again, not to be, not a recommendation. I told you that when you called me Saturday or whatever, Sunday, I said, wait, hold on. And
yeah, right now I'm not doing anything, but I'm just speculating in terms, not speculating, thinking about a year, a year or two.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you have a lot of money laying around, I don't. I have a daughter in college, and
I don't know what a lot of money, is. It's all relative.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. So let's get to this third one quickly. So we did do Catalan, and again, we actually had Catalan in our presentation, before with Twilio and Spunk. If you remember, Sergio did a presentation on it.
I probably missed that meeting.
You did, yeah. You.
Oh,
So look at the catalog, right? So this one was accepted in S&P 500 today. The sales are up 31%. Do you remember from the CanSlim, what was the percentage of sales needs to be going up by? 25%, right? 25%. This is 31%. That's definitely hitting that point. Up in volume, there's only one problem. You know, it's price change is, less than $1, which is a fail, but not a big problem. On EPS, 29%. I don't know. The last time they had an increase like that was in September 2019, which is incredible. Their projected, EPS is at about 18%. I'm sorry, sales are or price. It's going to be 18% up. They're saying. Right now, actually, they're down. Their volume is at average is 2.658, but so what was the volume today? Well, that's the volume today, so it's on the average, and it's actually going down. So that's a little bit scary because the volumes from a couple of days ago was about 9 million. Now it's only at 2 million. So I wouldn't touch this right now. Their industry is 45 out of 197. So it's definitely not a conservative buy. We want to be in top 40 sectors, right? We don't want to touch anything.
Let me ask you this about the placement. Shouldn't it be based on percentage, meaning 40 of 2,000, let's say, is not the same as 40 among 50, So if you're 40 among 50, you're in the bottom percentile.
No, this is 40 among 45 among 197.
No, I get that, but I think it's more significant to look at the number 40 based on. You also have to take into consideration the number of participants in that business.
Well, they're only divided by 197 sectors. There's no more sectors. That's
right.
all. Sorry. So now I want to get into hospitality stocks, if you don't mind. I'm going to stop sharing for a second here. Or you know what? Maybe it's best to look through hospitality stocks through here, and I'll just read some of the quotes that I have. So the first one I want to talk about Hilton.
Hilton, yeah.
Not Paris Hilton. So Hilton. So what do they do? We know they're basically into they have a bunch of hotels. Started in 60s, 70s. And it's, I wouldn't say it's high end, but basically the analyst is saying that Hilton Hotel has received a consensus rating of hold, which is not a good rating. Okay, right now hold means do not buy, but if you have it, hold it, don't buy. Right. The company average rating score is 2.35, which I'll get into it, and it's based on the 7 buy rating. So they're not even a 50 plus percentile on a buy rating. Okay, 9% holding rating, which is good, and 1 sell rating. They're still saying that there could be a sell. Price target, they're saying it's going to be forecasted about 92.42. So without further ado, let's get into the Hilton Hotel. I forget what's the ticker. All right, Hilton. Okay, so what happened? Let's get to price first, and we'll get to that. So there's only one fail on up volume. I'm sorry. First to get on volume. There's only one fail on up volume. So it hits all the. It's not bad. It's only 6% from the pivot, right? They're saying that it's 6% from the lowest, point desired, lowest, buy point get in desired. Okay. What they're saying is the volume is 49% lower, which is not a good news. And the sectors wise, they're bottom, 115 out of 197 sectors. So I don't know. Their sales is down 77%. We know why. And they don't even have EPS at this point, but in March, their EPS was negative 8%. Their relative strength is 42%. We want anything above 80%. What else? And we know what affected it, right? So let's go through different O'Neill structure. I mean, they're saying that the target price is 92, so they're around the target price right now. So I won't touch anything like that. So they're saying that O'Neill ratings, there's a lot of fails, right? So the EPS rating is less than 80%. Obviously, they have a negative EPS, not the current quarter. Relative strength rating is less than 80%. EPS percentage over quarter fail. There's so many fails here. I wouldn't touch it with, I don't want to curse me. You understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's read a little bit more into it. So they're saying that the sales, in general, annual sales is 9.45 billion. Price sales at $2.70. Cash flow is 5.44 per share, which is actually pretty good cash flow. Price per cash flow is 16.88. Debt to equity ratio is right now not present, so which is not a good news. Current ratio is 1.98, and I'll get into it a little bit more. And they're saying basically, miscellaneous, employees, 173,000 employees, outstanding shares, almost 300 million, sorry. And market cap is 26 billion, which is a big company, right? I mean, it hits the point on the market cap, has to be above 250 million, and it's 26 billion almost. Next earnings date is 10/28/2020. I wouldn't even bother with earnings days because it's just not going to show anything. Through the corona, people didn't really travel. But what's interesting about it, and I've told to Armando, there is a mutual funds they're holding Hilton right now, and it's the same mutual fund, and I'll tell you the name of it, that actually went up 62% this year, and that mutual fund holds Tesla. So, and in fact, I think they were even up today. Oh no, actually they were down today, $13. So I'm sorry if you bought it, Armando. Hopefully you didn't. But it's Barron's Partners Fund retail shares, BPTRX, and they bought Hilton. So they know something we don't. So they're thinking if the market comes back, they're going to be a good company to buy. So next one I want to talk about is Marriott, International. So let me go to my slides first. So what it is. Marriott is also the hotel lodging. So they're saying that the 19 analysts offering 12-month price forecast for Marriott International Inc. and has a medium target of $102. So what is the target? The $102 target. It's already at 103.98, so it's above the target at this point. Okay. If you look at the up volume analysis, they're actually failing on 2 points. They're saying that volume change versus 50-day, it's less than $20 is a fail. Price percent change less than $1 fail. So everything else is a pass. So let's look at their numbers. Sales in June, 72% down. Negative sales, 72%. Leisure and lodging sector is 115 out of 197. Not a good buy. And they don't even have EPS at this point. So I wouldn't touch it. Again, that's my personal.
It's interesting, it's a huge company. It's the industries don't. It seems to me that these analysis are based on short-term view, no?
It's not short-term view. Ken Slim teaches us that we have to be with times, and we have to look at the current market. But it's definitely, they're very conservative. If you don't look at the current market, you're going to get burned. I mean, they want you to be successful all the time. If you're going to be buying something that's going to be going down, that's not in their interest because they're not giving you good assessment. But they don't want you to obviously buy it for short term. They want you to buy it for a long term. But unfortunately, right now, leisure and lodging is not doing too hot because of the fact that we have, I don't know what numbers are with COVID these days, but, and I'm sure it's gotten better. And now we have elections coming up, and elections, you know, could throw a big monkey wrench again. So, you know, every which way, you know, Biden is going to get chosen, you know, bad, good for economy. Trump is going to get chosen, bad, good for economy, whatever it is, you know. I mean, they're saying that Trump is good for economy as far as the stock market is concerned. Biden is not, you know, it's wait and see, obviously, you know. And again, Biden is good for COVID-19, so maybe it's going to be directly affecting the economy. Who knows? So further numbers, they're saying that the highest on the stock was about $125 within 52 weeks. The median was 102, which I said that's a forecast. And the lowest was 83. So if you got into it at 83, you're really good. They're saying analysts right now is a hold, not buy. So it's not underperform, it's not overperform, it's a hold. So it's not, they don't give it a bad, you know, bad thing. So now I want to get into a little bit of airlines, right? I don't want to just keep doing the hotels. So, and some of the airlines I want to look at, and you probably find it strange, and I want to look at American Airlines, and I want to look at United Airlines. I want to look at, maybe it's weird for you, but we have, you know, we can look at Sprint and we can look at Alaska Airlines. I don't know if, so Alaska Airlines is actually an incredible company.
It's in the leisure.
Yeah. So it's still a 157 transportation airline. It's still 197. If you look at their sales, is 82% down. Obviously, people not flying. Up in volume is a fail, but they went up in price today. So something is happening. They're saying the volume is 2.838. So let's see if the volume, you know, oh, so they're saying on 8/14 in August, their volume was about 13 million, and now it's at 2 million. So it's a little bit scary why volume is down like that. Their EPS, you know, was negative 3.58. The percentage is not available because it's negative. And up until 2019, they still, their EPS was kind of stable, but not really. But it was going up. In September 2019, it reached the, the highest point is 2.63, which says that if the things come back to normal, this company is going to be good. And actually, you know, looking at their financials, so let's go into that. So as I've said before, their sales about 765 million. Now, you probably didn't know that. It's pretty high. Even though earnings per share, as I said, is negative, but their sales is, you know, is pretty good as far as they're concerned. They're saying that 9 analysts right now are saying buy. It's not a hold. It's not outperform. Hold is only 4. So it is a good stock to buy, even though IBD and Cancelim says do not. So it's up to you, you know, obviously, and it has to be, all has to do with, this is a very sound company, by the way. They're not, you know, your AAA, they're not, you know, American Airlines, they're not firing anybody. You know, there's no furlough for any of their employees. They're actually pretty, if you're thinking of investing in airlines, and as on recommendation, look at this company and look at Spirit Airlines. I know you guys are gonna say, Spirit, what a garbage, but let's look at it right now. Spirit actually is a very well-managed company.
It's a budget company, so it's not necessarily a bad thing.
So let's look at it. So yeah, I mean, obviously sales is gonna be down 86%, not a good news. But the stock is worth about $18. It was up today, 2%, or 0.49 cents. You know, the buy point, you know, was around, let's say about $10 somewhere in May or March, whatever. But it's steadily going up, steadily. I mean, they reached their highest point of 25 in June, which is when you remember it was kind of like all the airlines were going up, and then it went down a little bit. The volume is actually up 11 million. And if you think of it, the volume in June when the stock was the highest was 318 million. So the volume is down, I apologize, to today, because it was when it was the highest of its price when COVID, it was actually 318 million. What else we can look? Cash flow, it's 8.39. The industry obviously 157, 197. And that's basically it. And like I said, it's a negative EPS. On up volume, it's actually only have one fail. And let's look at O'Neill's. Has a lot of fails, obviously, because it's right now nobody's flying. But I think it's still a good buy. But it's my personal recommendation. As opposed to American Airlines. Let's look at American Airlines. All right, so stock is worth about $14. It was up 2 cents today. Up volume. Look, it has 2 fails. That's not a good sign. The funds that are buying it reduced it, and considerably reducing it. Look at this. In March it was 988. Obviously now it's 779 funds that are buying it. They're consistently, their sales with all the airlines are down 86%, and their EPS is negative 7.82. I mean, nobody's flying right now at this point. Let's look at the volume. They say the volume right now at the highest point was 74 million, and as of today, is about 70. So it's kind of like an average volume. But at their highest point, it was 1 billion volume. So that's probably not a good indicator, because that's when people were, putting a lot of money in airlines, and we can look at actually right now Norwegian cruises and Carnival cruises, just to see as an example. So Norwegian cruise, 99% down on the sales. Obviously nobody's traveling. I think this number doesn't even do it justice.
I wonder what the 1% is that is traveling. What kind
military,
of
military.
Exactly. Or remember, they also brought a lot of the boats for the COVID-19. So, let's, without further ado, kind of like dive into what's going on right now with, aftermarket. Aftermarket, all the technology stocks are still down. So let's look at the list of, movers and shakers for today. So they're saying that there is about recent, near pivot, or the point that we won't buy it at. There's 4 companies out there. There's a National General Holdings. I don't know what they are. Let's look at it. So they're saying that this is near a pivot point of buying, but I wouldn't touch it, because it's, first of all, the industry is 157, 197. Their actually EPS is pretty good, 103%. Their relative strength is 22%. They have a lot of fails on up volume, and they're into insurance, property, casualty, and title companies. National General Holdings, I mean, look it up. They're still down today, and they're saying that it's 1% to pivot, meaning that it could break out at any point. So let's go to the next one. ARIA Sciences, 80 of 197. It's a finance blank check company. Absolutely no data on it. And it's a lot of fails. I wouldn't even look at it. NovaCure Limited. Oh, look, NovaCure Limited is a medical product, 42 of 197. It's not that far from a 40, right? Top 40. It's 42nd. They said relative strength is 79, which is close to 80. And look, up in volume, all hits there is no fails. Write it down. Novacure Limited. I'm going to write it down myself. So what they're saying is it's 4% to pivot, meaning that it's 4% to a buy point, to the desirable point, okay? And then we will look it up. And they're saying it's, let's look at volume, just for argument's sake. Average volume, their volume is 1.307. Let's look a couple of days back. It's actually down, so just be careful. You know, the volume is down. I don't understand why. So I don't know why the stock is up today. But I guess because of the fact that that's probably one of the stable stock. The funds are kind of like staying the same. They don't really move on this one. Maybe look at some of their competitors. I don't know, but write it down. That's all I can tell you. Novacure Limited.
Yeah, they treat cancer, you know, solid tumor cancer.
Here you go.
Brain cancer.
All right, let's go to the next one. O'Reilly Automotive.
O'Reilly. I hear the commercial.
102 of 197. Retail, wholesale auto parts. O'Reilly. First of all, the stock price is ridiculous. $470. Well, good luck. And there's a lot of problems as far as the volume is concerned. But if you look at their sales, they're up 19%. We want 25%, right? I mean, it's close. But look at their EPS, it's up 57%. That's ridiculous. So look it up, but it's expensive. So maybe I buy an option or something. Breakout today. Let's look at that. There's only one that broke out today. Harmony Biosciences. What's going on here? Looks like a recent IPO. Yeah, I won't even touch it. There's really no data. What else we can look at? Let's open ideas. Let's look at the recent breakouts. So this is the ones that just broke out recently. And again, there's a lot of them that we might have already addressed. But if you look at them, let's look at the relative strength ones. And I want to do the top 5 relative strength. So RS rating. So I did the top RS rating. The first one is Close Strike Holdings. All right, let's look at that one. Oh boy, there's really no. Oh, hold on, let me press on. Here it is. All right, so it's actually on the market going down. It's computer software security. I don't know. Technology stocks, a little scary. So it's actually their sales is up 84%, but it's lower than all the prior quarters. Their EPS is up 125%, but they were negative in prior quarters, so it's not really an indicator. The volume is at 50-week average 6 million. It looks like a couple of days what the volume is like. So 6 million, 12 million, 20 million. So it's kind of low volume or lower volume than average. The relative strength is 83, which is good. It's a top 40 sector. I mean, check it out. Amazon I won't touch. Alibaba I won't touch. Saya Inc. Let's look at Saya Inc. Transport truck. Okay, let's check it out. It looks like it's up today. Was up today, and it's 3% of the pivot, 2 weeks pivot. Relative strength is really good at 91% average. But look at their sales; they're down 10%, and their EPS is 24%. So pass. Virtue Financial. Oh my God, look at the sales, the 142. What do they do? Financial services specialty. I mean, they're actually lower than 40 top 40. So there's 92 of 197. Their sales are 142%. So I got to look into this. and their EPS is 981% up. What does it say on app volume? There's only one fail. What does O'Neill say? Everything is pass. So write this down. Virtue Financial. Let's look it up. Again, that's not a recommendation, guys. Check it out on your own. Otherwise, you'll be calling me like, Zach, what is wrong with you? What have you been drinking? Especially Armando is like, you know, I'm on quarantine. You have no mercy on me. What are you doing? All right. And that's all I wanted to do. I wouldn't even do top 50 because it's top 50 over 52 weeks. So it's kind of scary to look at top 50 right now because of the fact that we can do top 30 relative strength stocks. And let's see what, you know, again, the first one is Tesla, pass. Square Inc. Let's look at that one. That's down. Finance Credit Card Company. So let's pass. Hecla Mining. It's not good. Fastly, I won't touch that right now. Goldfield Limited. There's a lot of gold companies in top 50. It's weird. Oh, look at their sales are up. It's 11 out of 197. It's $12.55 stock. I mean, it's worth looking into. If you look at O'Neill, it's all passes basically. Let's look at up volume. There's only one fail. Look at their sales is up 27%. Look at their EPS up 233. I'm writing this down. I'm sorry. And the ticker is GFI. Let's look at volume. It's actually pretty good volume, 8,534,000, and it's actually right now 84% from pivot. So that's the only scary part. So it could go down. So there might have been. It was worth about $6 in January. So it's steadily going up, but not a lot. So if you want stable, this is stable. Zoom I won't touch. NVAX I won't touch. But let's look at NVAX. I actually invested in it. It's actually 55% down from 52-week high. That's ridiculously crazy. It was a $189 stock just a month ago, and now it's $85. And I was invested in it, so I got out of it. They're into COVID. If you look at their sales in June, it's 958% up. But none of it has to do with COVID-19 drugs because those weren't even approved by FDA. But check it out. Maybe a good stock to look at, but not to invest. They actually have two fails on O'Neill up volume. They have two fails. This is not good. There's 70 at 187 medical biomax, so also not good. Maybe look at the other ones on the Codex, for example. It's been a good company, and look, it's up $3 today. Their sales is up 1,000%. It's ridiculous. Their EPS from negative to positive. They're into giving the test kits for COVID-19, which is hot right now. Companies like Fulgent, Abbott Laboratories, them, are leaders at that. So look at COVID diagnostics. But the buy point was about $2-3. So I don't know. And look at the volume right now. Remember, volume is 20 million right now. So that's a pretty good volume. So and there's pass. Go ahead.
52-week high, $30.
I'm sorry? Yeah, $30.
Right, 30.
Yeah, right. So that might be a good buy right there. Again, please, this is our only recommendation. Please don't call me after and kick my behind, especially I'm afraid of Regina. With all my kickboxing prowess and jiu-jitsu, I won't be able to take her on.
I know. I can take my losses like a soldier.
Yeah. Yeah, and Armando is far away from me, so I'm not scared. I can give him some bad tips. He's not gonna do anything to me right now. Just kidding. Armando is my buddy, so I'm not, especially Sergio is gonna be on the phone and it's like cursing at me in whatever language he speaks, Akkadian language. He's an ancient guru. By the way, I gotta show you something with Sergio. Can we take a second break, guys?
Yes.
Of course.
So please don't tell this to Sergio, and he doesn't like to share this with anybody. But I have a channel, history channel, right? Sergio did a presentation on Al-Andalus. So we're taking commercial break here, all right? So I'm gonna put up a Sergio presentation. He's dressed like a Christian and Muslim soldier of 700, AD from Al-Andalusia. So please do not tell it to Sergio. He'll kill me. And this is beyond crazy. I mean, I love the guy. Obviously, I wouldn't make fun of him, but let's make fun of him. All right, commercial break. All right.
What? Where does he get those? The mesh and everything.
You guys love it?
Yes. Oh, and a spear. Oh my.
So don't mess with Sergio,
And a sword. Oh no.
Wow.
So that's my history. You guys, so I join my history group, and this is what we do.
That's funny. I mean, he makes his own. Where does he get the costumes?
He buys online, and he makes some of them. He makes.
Wow. That's funny.
Mm. Interesting.
Cordillera, 13th century. Very nice. Very, very nice.
Mm.
All right, enough of making fun of Sergio. He's gonna kill me.
He did a good job.
He did an amazing job, yeah. But that's the presentation we do for. So what I want to do now, if you guys don't mind, remember I was telling you about ThinkorSwim. I'm going to get into ThinkorSwim right now, and we're going to put those 4 or 5 stocks that I talked about, and it's going to tell us whether there was a time to buy or not. So we did an incredible analysis for those, right? We'll talk about Codex, GF5, Virtu, LTID, and we'll look at the other 3 stocks that got admitted to S&P 500, and then we'll look at those, okay? So I think today people didn't join, and it's their fault, because I think today is one of the good sessions. I mean, we have good sessions all the time, but I'm trying to advertise myself. Sorry.
That's good.
Regina's like, what is wrong with this guy?
I'm good. I got it. I have ThinkorSwim now. ThinkorSwim. I have it.
Okay, so let's look how to not look again. I'm not an expert in ThinkorSwim, but so do not sink or swim with me. But definitely swim, don't sink.
ThinkorSwim. Yeah, ThinkorSwim.
All right.
Yes.
So let me just open it up, and then I'll share it. If I didn't figure out my password. And again, like I said, next week we're going to talk about TTM scalper, but I wanted to do something where I'm going to put those 4 stocks, and I'm going to explain to you what I'm looking at, okay? I already said it 45,000 times and didn't actually do anything. 1 second. This sucks. 1 second. I'm trying to share it. Share screen. Where is the ThinkorSwim? Oh, it didn't let me present it. It didn't let me present. Why? Why? Oh, here it is. All right. All right, let's do this. And then we'll go through some of the knowledge base for this. So this first one.
Hold on. I have a quick question.
Yes.
How do I get, because my screen does not look like this when I pull up.
Ah, very nice. First thing you want to do is you want to get to charts, right? Okay. On top you have charts, right? Then what you want to do is you want to add a couple of studies on it. So you want to add, persons pivot study, and you want to add TTM scalper study on it. So what does it do? It tells you when to buy or sell the stock, and also gives you this Japanese candlestick indicators when to buy or sell the stock. Okay. And again, this has to be used in conjunction with Market Smith. And right now, Market Smith actually offers 2 weeks for $34 trial, and maybe you should try that one. So how do you add the study? So you see this one on top? It looks like a beacon with the sun in it. You click on it. On the left, it gives you studies, right? So let's say you're looking for TTM scalper alert. Right there, study came up. You click on it, and you add selected. And you add a study. It tells you when to buy or sell the stock. And I'll show you what that means. So let's look at Codex. All right. Code diagnostics. So what I did is I chose a weekly, on here you can choose the time frame. The time frames are, I chose 3-year weekly. It's 3-year 1 day time frame, okay? That's the time frame that they look at. So they're saying that for that time frame, the sell point was at $26. But as we remember, the stock is at $11 right now. It doesn't give you any indicators to buy. This is the indicator to buy. You see this arrow pointing up? That's a TTM scalper indicator to buy. This is PPS, persons pivot, another indicator to buy. They said that a buy point was a 16 back at 629. And the TTM scalper is saying the buy point was at 6.8. There is no buy points at this point. So let's switch to daily. See what the daily, and daily is very confusing. But let's do maybe, let's do 5 days. And oh man, this is very confusing. 1 second. Let's do daily. You see, it has a lot of buys in it, but and sells at the same time. That's why I think we want daily, which is 1 second. Let's look at time frame. We'll look at daily, and then we'll do 1 year, 1 day. 1 day, 2 days. Okay, here we go. So you can change the time frame. They're also telling you that the buy point was at 21 back in 731. So what is your assessment? Is this a good buy right now? We basically determined it was a good buy, right? Through the Market Smith. And they're saying the get-in point was at $21 and we're at 11. So is that a good get-in point? With COVID ramping around, I would probably read a lot about it. But these pointers tell you only to buy. There's no sell. There was a sell here at 26, but we're nowhere near 26, okay? So at $11 is a good buy. Let's get to the second one. And this is a daily chart, intraday chart. But if you look at weekly, let's look at weekly time frame. And then, we'll look at instead of weekly, 3-year weekly. It tells you that the sell point was at 26, but there's no buy point. They're saying it's right now on its way down still.
Well, what they are saying is actually that the buying point might be even lower than that. That's what they are saying.
Yes, they're saying that do not buy right now, but they also don't say to sell. So, but remember, we also went to the Market Smith and determined the volume was up. So you have to do your research, obviously. It's dangerous. They're not telling you to buy right now. So it's a little bit dangerous to get into this. And then let's look at the next one. Vert, for example. Vert Financial. All right. So they're saying that TTM scalp on the weekly buy point was at 24. And right now the stock is at 25, which is not bad. But also they're telling you that at 25 it was a sell. And TTM Scalper is also telling you that the sell was at 26. So TTM Scalper and person pivot indicators, they kind of in agreement that 25, 26 is a sell. So I probably wait for it to go down a little bit. But they're telling you at 24 it's a buy, and the stock is at 25 right now. So maybe if it hits 24.28, you get into it. Or wait until it's going to give you that point. So I can work with you, Regina. Maybe you can call me on how to set it up.
Okay.
You just have to add the study. And I'll go through different systems or different time frames to set it up. So maybe we should look at different time frames. Like the best time frame is obviously 1 year, 1 day, or work for the weekly 3 year 1 day, and I'll explain to you what that means as well.
Okay.
So for that factor, let's go to the next one. LTID. Was it this one? 1 second. I don't know. It's taking this beautiful time. Let's go to not cure. Something wrong with my network. Not cure.
It's NV.
Oh.
VCR.
Again, N.
V.
V.
CR.
CR. Okay, thank you. Okay, so what does it tell us for the weekly? It's basically telling us nothing at this point. But the buy point they're saying was for PPS indicator was about $61. For the a TTM scalper was about $53, and we're right now it's $82. So the sell point somewhere around 420 was around $76. So we're definitely at a high of the highest, but we also had reached in August 19, which right now we're in different world, right? $98. So it's up to you, obviously, but I won't buy anything, So that's why it's good to have both to indicate, what to do, in this case. Which other one we can look at? Let's look at the ones that are, so Etsy. Okay, so they're saying that Etsy was a sell point at 129, okay, which was August 31st. No buys at this point. Let's look at daily, 5 day, 5 month. And they're telling you that a buy point was around 107. We're definitely past that, long time ago. Meaning it's pretty high up there. So let's go back to weekly. So you're closer to sell than to buy. I won't buy it at this point. And the candles sometimes mean that it could go down up to 110. Those long candles, and we'll get into the candle, what they mean. There's a Japanese candle study, and I will do a presentation on that so you guys will understand what that means. And I will also do a presentation on, and I will kind of explain what is a TTM scalper, right? TTM scalper is basically, they tell you it's an indicator when the price should go up or go down based on the liquidity, volume, and the price of the transaction. And person pivot is also when is the last time that the certain security was up, and that's how he determines whether the security needs to be buy or sold. So it's all-time high right now. So maybe wait for it to go down a little bit before you buy it. Let's look at the catalog. Hold on a second. Catalog. CTLT. There you go. So, catalog, they're telling us that the sell point was 96. It's at 83 right now. So it might be a good opportunity here. They're saying a buy point was at 72, back in 76. Okay. So that's for person's pivot. This is for TTM scalper. They're saying 67 with 83. So, and there's a little bit of ways to go down. So maybe wait up before you buy it. But this is one that got admitted into the, what do they call it? The S&P. And let's look at the last one there, which is the Teradyne. They're saying the sell point was around 88, and I was on 831. Okay, no buying. Last buy point was at 61, and right now with 84. So I don't know, up to you. So far, I think of all of them, I'll probably look at Codex the best. That's how much you basically feed them all out. But again, that's not a recommendation. It's up to you. So any questions?
No,
my friends? And then we will get into what all of this means, not to confuse you guys, but I think we did a pretty good session today. We went over what we wanted to go over today. What I want to do last is go through a little bit of, ThinkorSwim analysis of things. And I'll present my screen again. I'll stop sharing this. There's a lot to intake today. I apologize. Shit. You know what? Let's leave it for next time because it's going to be too much information. Let's and it's already been we've been up. And anybody has anything you want to look at or on ThinkorSwim or Market Smith or any questions? And then we'll go through all the details next time. I'll put a chart, charts together as I'm going to be explaining certain definitions. I'll go in ThinkorSwim and we will do those things. And again, Regina, you can reach out to me. I can navigate you through, ThinkorSwim. And then Armando opened an account for ThinkorSwim for 9th time. I'm telling you, man, if you want to make some money, you got to be this good.
I know. I hear you, brother.
And I'm going to stop recording at this point.